Hi, folks. You know that phrase, it's a small world. I just wanted to share a story with you that I think you might find fascinating and interesting. My wife, Randy, and I have been together now for 20 years, and I have a vivid memory of our first date, the conversations we were having. And it eventually turned to music because we're both music lovers, and I told her I was a guitar player, and she might have went, "Oh boy, another guitar player, huh?" But then she started, well, then when I said I'm a guitar player, she said, "Well, I come from a very musical family." I said, "Oh, you do?" So she started with her dad. Her dad's name is Bob Rossthorn, and Bob now is, I think he's 89 years old, 90 years old, something like that. And she said that Bob, her dad, played all the drums in the musical trio that was on the Mr. Rogers Show, the Fred Rogers Show, Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. And the other two musicians besides Bob were Carl McVicker was an upright bass player, and then Johnny Costa played the piano. And really an amazing trio, incredible musicians. And Bob also played all the percussion on that show, so anytime you heard little trinket sounds with the trolley and all that stuff, that was my future father-in-law. So I found that fascinating, and I said to Randy, I said, "Well, wait a minute. If your dad's Bob Rossthorn and he played on the Mr. Rogers Show, I thought back when they recorded that show, in the mid-'80s, I took some guitar lessons from an incredible guitar player by the name of Joe Negri, who's another Pittsburgher." So ironically enough, Joe had a role on the Mr. Rogers Show. So after Joe would teach me some lessons, Joe would go to the studios at WQED in Oakland, in the Oakland section of Pittsburgh, and tape that show, and would be playing with my future wife's father. So then Randy mentioned that her sister, Robin, is a piano player. And when Robin moved out of Pittsburgh, she moved to Manhattan in New York City, and she started playing solo piano and in a lot of the various lobbies of all the hotels there. So while Robin's doing that, she met her future husband, whose name is John Goldsby. Now, John, if you're a jazz player, and especially if you're an upright jazz bass player, you know the name John Goldsby. He's truly one of the world's finest upright bass players. So when Robin and John were living in New York, John was offered a position with an incredible jazz orchestra called the WDR Jazz Orchestra. They are located and headquartered in Cologne, Germany. So Robin and John moved from the States, and they have been living in Germany, I think, for at least the past 24 years, something like that. And my wife and I, as a side note, were so fortunate enough a few years ago to go to Germany and see John perform in Cologne with this band. And the whole operation is just the real deal. Everything about it is top notch. And we were also able, when we were over there, to see Robin play her solo piano. So now this is ironic that this past August 18th, a couple weeks ago, I released a 6-song EP of all original music. And this was not planned at all. My sister-in-law, Robin, and my brother-in-law, John, both also released albums on that same day. So if you're a music lover, please check out all of our 3 albums. Each album is 6 songs each, and you could not get a more diverse genre music selection between the 3 of us. John's is just incredible straight-ahead jazz, and John's latest album is just John and a incredible piano player, Billy Test, who happens to be from Pennsylvania, from the State College area. Billy is now living in Cologne, Germany, playing with John in the WDR Jazz Band. My sister-in-law's, Robin's new CD, or new album, whatever you want to call it these days, is incredible, just solo piano, beautiful, very relaxing. And my album is more up-tempo, jazzy, funky, blues, R&B, soulful kind of stuff. So please check all 3 of our stuff out. It's really diverse music, and I think it's really good stuff. So just wanted to share that It's a Small World story with you.